Hello Internet, that odd-looking guy there is me, your host, Spikerzky. I'm not actually recording dialogue with the camera in this review because I had weird editing problems last time, and I'm lazy, so I don't want to fix them. Anyway, what game have you got for us today? Okay then, Zatch Mamodo battles. That certainly looks Japanese. What the hell is a Zatch Bell? I'll tell you what's a Zatch Bell. It's a franchise based around a manga, published weekly Shonen Sunday from 2001 to 2007. Written and illustrated by Makoto Raiku? I'm sure that's a butchered pronunciation in half, but whatever. An anime adaptation was produced by Toei Animation at some point in between, and the franchise made its way over to America several years later, as it generally happens. The story centered around 100 crazy magical beings called Mamodo that each enter the human world, pair up with a human partner who can read their Mamodo spellbook and unlock their badass powers, and beat the ever-living crap out of each other to see who will become the next king of the Mamodo. So, it's a generic shonen fight show. That explains why I wasn't interested in it at the time it came out, as by the time I was able to watch it, Naruto and its ilk had begun to make me lose interest in anime and manga, an interest I wouldn't get back until after high school with the likes of Bakuno and Spice and Wolf, but whatever, I'm prattling. Despite the lack of interest, I still ended up picking up this game. Honestly, this is one of the few games from my childhood that I remember downright disliking. Which is incredibly odd considering I have fond memories of games like Digimon Rumble Arena, and that game is a bit of a steaming pile. So, after firing this up and giving it a play, how do I feel after going at it with a critical mindset? Before I tell you that, I'll have to recover from the disgust at this child-friendly menu. Dear lord, so many colors and spinning parts. This menu is very crowded and busy, and it's talking at me.
This is the 2P versus mode.
In a friendly voice. I actually kind of hate that in games, but that's being persnickety, so let's just move on. The fighting portions of the game, and the only part that really matters visually, goes for a kind of cel-shaded style for the characters, which is fitting considering the basis for the game. The use of plain gradient textures for some parts of the costumes is actually a bit distracting personally, as are the kind of muddy textures in the stage geometry. Everything is very vibrant and colorful, which made the games look really grow on me. I'm one of those people that hates the lacking color palette in a lot of AAA titles coming out today. The lighting for the fights taking place in the evening actually looks quite good, though I'd be hard-pressed to tell you why I think that. The only graphical quirk that I can actually call a flaw is how the characters' faces are handled. The expressions are just kinda pasted on there. Sure, they're not completely static, which would have been, terrifying, but the flicking between different stock anime faces still looks pretty awful. Thankfully, everything moves quickly enough that you won't really notice it mid-fight. Everything looks pretty cool in action, so it's all good. Well, the voices can get really damn annoying too. Everything sounds forced and the voice clips are repeated a lot. Music's alright though. Not bad, not memorable, but alright. It's certainly fitting for whatever's happening on screen at the time, and that's really all I need to give it a pass. Now let's talk about the story mode. That's right, a story mode in a fighting game. You're given a list of locales and get to pick where you want to go to find your next fight. That sure is nifty. The downside is, some of them are empty. Go to those and you're told no one's here, let's go back, and get dumped out to the selection screen. This is pointless, a waste of time, and could have been avoided simply by marking the places which you should go to next. Nitpicky? Yeah, maybe, but it's the little things that make a game annoying, so it's still worth mention. On to more substantial complaints, the actual story of the story mode is kind of lackluster. It seems, for the titular character Zatch anyway, that the game tries to stick to the original story a little bit, but since everything is boiled down to a few lines of dialogue before fights, it's all quickly spoken nonsense, basically all fitting into the, hey, I want to fight you. What? Do you know who I am? Hey, I want to fight you kind of pattern. With the few identifiable shonen tropes like, you cannot defeat him for you have no purpose, no goal to fight for, thrown in. It's bad. But I suppose they at least tried to give an interesting single-player option. That's more than I can say most of Capcom's recent fighting games. Heyo, up top! Next is the part that actually matters for a fighting game. The deciding factor of the quality of the game. The actual gameplay. Obviously enough, it's a 3D fighting game, one which happens to have quickly moving characters, which is refreshing after playing tons of Soul Calibur and feeling all sluggish-like. See the big bar? That's the player health. See the bar below it? That's the magic bar. And it's the most interesting thing this game has going for it. To use your Mamodo's spell attacks, you have to spend a magic. Usually you start the fight with a little magic to use it at your leisure, but to build more you have to run up and punch your opponent right in the face. Lovely! It's a dynamic that I really love in theory, as it attempts to keep a player from spamming especially effective special moves for the entire match, keeping things interesting. Or at least it would keep things more interesting if the combat were a little more deep. See, the game uses a 2-button combat system, for the most part. There is a guard button and things like that too, but there are only 2 attack buttons. You may be asking, how is this a problem? The Super Smash Bros. Games did this, and they're fairly well received. The answer lies in attack variety. How do you do a physical attack in Zatch Bell? You hit B. How do you do a combo in Zatch Bell? You hit B a lot. That's it. No complex combinations, no directional input, no specific moves useful in specific situations like in basically any other fighting game. No anti-air, no possibility of mix-ups, no complexity. Just mashing B. You get 1 combo per character. It's always the same. Okay, you can end it with your character's basic spell if you want. But that's it. 1 option. The only option. Sure, the spells add some variety to each character, what with stuns and projectiles and attacks from above and tag team attacks with your partner, but there's kind of no point in talking about them. You have to use melee attacks to build up the magic to use them. The fighting system requires you to use its horrifyingly simplistic melee attacks, which ended up making me incredibly bored. Mashing B is only entertaining for a while, you guys, and I have no choice but to do it. I suppose it's also worth noting that even pulling off the 1 combo each character has is a bit sketchy, since 1 strike in the middle of the combo might miss. Then you're pretty well screwed, as your character will generally keep attacking until the combo's done, regardless of whether or not you want to stop it to, say, keep your opponent from twatting you in the back. For the characters with a longer combo, that can be a pain, especially considering you have no choice but to fight like this. Ugh. Although, I admit, when the combo does hit consistently, it'll actually be pretty effective. You can spam the crap out of physical attacks so long as you get the timing just right. Hell, the character I had the most luck with is one of the characters who were melee focused. So much for designing the game in a way to get the players to use their entire repertoire, as I thought would be the case from the outset. This fighting game's fighting is basic to the point of boredom. Screw whatever goodwill the game built up with its presentation or its mechanical ideas. Sure, the game looks good, but it's so damn simple that I just couldn't have fun with it once the pretty colors lost their luster and I had to focus on actually playing. There is, of course, a little bit more. If you actually want to keep exposing yourself to the lackluster fighting for some reason, there's a time attack mode if you want a string of random fights without the story in between. You can earn points in various game modes to level up each character's stats in the develop mode. That's pretty neat, I guess. It'd help you if you're having trouble with the story mode's harder fights. You can unlock some characters. One of them being this creepy thing. He's terrifying, and has tentacle arms, and will likely haunt my dreams. Thanks, Raikou, you jerk. Oh, and you can unlock cards from the Zatch Bell collectible card game. As far as I can tell, they serve no purpose. All you can do is look at them in the gallery. Swell! The mystery of why I didn't remember this game fondly is solved. At least I can actually give a definitive answer this time. Zatch Mamodo battles isn't good, nor is it awful. It's not so fundamentally flawed that it circles back around and becomes something of a riffable learning experience like the dreaded Sonic 06, and it's not good enough despite its flaws to be recommendable like Ape Escape was last time. It's just got so little going for it gameplay-wise that it becomes thoroughly mediocre. This game isn't worth anybody's time, unless you're a devoted fan of the Zatch Bell franchise, I guess, or if you're collecting all the fighting games ever. But really, when the core mechanic of a game basically boils down to mashing a single button thoughtlessly ad nauseum, it's not worth anybody's time. Just stay away. It's very meh. Aw man, I almost feel bad for saying that. Maybe there's hidden depth to the game. I'm sure fans of this game could tell me that I'm not playing it right. Judging by other fighting games, maybe it's just a matter of learning the timing. Like, you get the right rhythm down and the system just unfolds for you. I don't know. It may very well be a case of me not getting deep enough. But when I get bored, I generally stop. It's how I play games. I did my dues. I played for a few hours. I saw what it had to offer. It bored me. I don't know what else to say. Zatch Mamodo battles gets a fail. A single creepy puppet boy out of 5. At least it was kind of visually endearing. It gets a point for that. I'll hopefully stumble upon something more interesting next time. Until then, have a fantastic day.